If you do not find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. Now, those are my words. Those belong to Warren Buffett. But they represent the most fundamental truth of the modern world. And if you're sitting there thinking, I have a good job, I have a steady salary, I'm safe, I want you to look me in the eye. You are in a trap. Most people are living on a subscription model, where they're the product. You are renting out your life 40 hours at a time in exchange for a paycheck that is designed to keep you coming back next Monday. You are trading the only finite, non-renewable resource you possess, your time, for a piece of paper that loses value every single day. Think about the math for a second. There are only 24 hours in a day. Even if you were the highest paid consultant in the world, your earning potential is mathematically capped by your physical exhaustion. If you stop moving, the money stops flowing. That isn't wealth. That's a high-end treadmill. And the moment you trip, the moment the economy shifts, or the moment your company decides you're a line item that needs to be erased, the treadmill stops. We are living through the greatest shift in human history. The employee age is dying. The era of loyalty in exchange for a pension is a ghost of the past. If you continue to rely on a single source of income that requires your physical presence, you are playing a game of Russian roulette with your future. In this video, I'm not just going to tell you to work hard. Working hard is what the person on the treadmill does. I'm going to show you how to build the machine that replaces the treadmill. I'm going to show you why your safety is actually your greatest risk, and why the most dangerous thing you can do right now is stay comfortable. If you miss what I'm about to say next, you aren't just missing a video. You're missing the blueprint to reclaim your freedom before the gates close. You need to decide right now, are you a builder or are you a resource for someone else's building? Pay attention, because the clock is ticking and you're currently paying for your life with the only thing you can't buy back. Most people think they have a career. What they actually have is a high-stakes rental agreement. You are renting your brain, your hands, and your life to a corporation, and they are paying you just enough to make sure you show up again next month to renew the lease. Let's look at the architecture of the employee trap. It's built on the illusion of safety. We've been conditioned since grade school to believe that a steady paycheck is the ultimate security. But think about the structural integrity of that belief. If you have one job, you have a single point of failure. If that one person, your boss, your CEO, or a board of directors you've never met, decides your role is redundant, your income goes to zero overnight. That isn't safety. That is extreme financial fragility. Real security doesn't come from a paycheck. It comes from assets. An asset is a machine. It's something you build once that worked for you forever. When I started Amazon in a garage, I wasn't looking to get a job as a bookseller. I was building a system of servers, logistics, and algorithms that could process orders while I was eating dinner, while I was arguing with suppliers, and yes, while I was sleeping. If I had spent those years just selling my hours to the highest bidder, I would still be selling my hours today. The trap is psychological. It's called linear growth. In a job, if you want to make 10% more money, you usually have to work 10% more hours or wait for a 3% cost of living adjustment. Your growth is tied to the clock, but the clock is a tyrant. It's the only resource that is perfectly fair. Everyone gets 24 hours, which means it's the one resource you can never use to get ahead of the pack. To break free, you have to move from linear growth to exponential leverage. Leverage is the magic word. There are 4 types of leverage in this world: labor, capital, code, and content. For a long time, you needed permission for the first 2. You needed to be a boss to have labor, or you needed to be rich to have capital. But today, code and content are permissionless. You can write a program, start a channel, or build a digital product that reaches millions of people while you are doing absolutely nothing. The employee trap keeps you too busy to build leverage. It keeps you in a state of functional exhaustion. You work all day, you come home tired, you consume entertainment to numb the stress, and you go to sleep. You don't have the bandwidth to think about building a machine because you are too busy being a gear in someone else's machine. You have to stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like an owner. An owner doesn't ask, how much can I earn today? An owner asks, what can I build today that will earn for me tomorrow? If you look at the most successful people in the world, they aren't the ones working the most hours. They are the ones who own the most units of leverage. They own shares. They own intellectual property. They own brands, and they own automated systems. They have decoupled their income from their time. When you sell your time, you are taxed at the highest rates. You are the last to get paid after the business takes its cut and the government takes theirs. But when you own the system, you play by a different set of rules. You aren't just earning money. You are building equity. Equity is the only thing that creates true generational freedom. If you are still waiting for a raise, you are asking for permission to survive. If you are waiting for a promotion, you are asking for permission to be slightly more comfortable in your cage. The door to that cage is wide open, but you have to be willing to walk away from the certainty of a monthly check to embrace the possibility of a limitless system. The transition is painful. It requires you work a double shift for a while, the shift that pays your bills, and the shift that builds your future. Most people quit during this phase because they don't see immediate results. They expect a machine to start printing money on day one. But a machine takes time to calibrate. It takes obsession. It takes a day one mentality where you are willing to be misunderstood for a long period of time. Are you willing to be the person who works on a project for a year with zero ROI so that you can have an ROI that lasts for a lifetime? Or are you too addicted to the hit of dopamine that comes with a bi-weekly paycheck? The trap is comfortable. That's why it works. It's a velvet-lined coffin. But the cost of that comfort is your soul, your creativity, and your future. You were not born to be a human resource. You were born to be a creator. And it's time you started building the infrastructure to support that creation. Now, we've identified the trap. We've looked at the bars of the cage. But looking at the bars isn't enough. You have to melt them down and forge your own key. My advice to you is simple, yet it is the hardest thing you will ever do. Stop looking for a boss and start looking for a problem. Every massive fortune, every successful system, and every hour of passive income started by solving a problem for someone else at scale. If you solve a problem for one person, you have a job. If you solve a problem for 1 million people, and you automate that solution, you have a machine. You have to move from being a consumer of the economy to being an architect of it. You don't need $1 billion to start. You need a day one obsession. You need to be willing to be misunderstood for a long period of time. People will call you crazy. They will ask why you're working on a side project instead of resting after your 9 to 5. They will tell you to be realistic. But remember, realistic is just a code word for average. And average is exactly what the trap is designed to produce. I am giving you a mission. I don't want you to just watch this and feel inspired. Inspiration is a perishable commodity. It rots if you don't use it. I want you to commit to the 100-hour rule. Over the next 30 days, I want you to find 100 hours. That's roughly 3 hours a day, and dedicate them exclusively to building an asset that does not require your physical presence to function. Audit your time. Cut the streaming services, delete the social media apps that feed you mindless content, and stop trading your evenings for temporary relaxation. Identify your leverage. Are you going to write code? Are you going to create content that educates? Are you going to build a digital storefront? Build the MVP. Don't try to build the next Amazon on day one. Build a minimum viable product. Build the smallest possible version of a system that can make $1 while you are brushing your teeth. Once you prove to yourself that you can earn $1 without trading a minute of your time for it, the mental cage shatters. Once you make $1, you know the system works. Then it's just a matter of scaling that system until it replaces your salary, and then eventually, until it buys back your entire life. The world is divided into 2 types of people: those who are part of the infrastructure and those who own it. Every day you spend exclusively as an employee, you are helping someone else build their dream at the expense of your own. You are the fuel in their engine. It is time to stop being the fuel and start being the driver. This isn't just about money. This is about agency. It's about being able to look at your calendar and realize that every single hour belongs to you. It's about the freedom to choose your work based on passion, rather than a fear of a missed mortgage payment. If you are ready to stop selling your life and start building your legacy, then you need to stay in this circle. We are building a community of builders, not workers. Subscribe to Jeff Bezos' highlight right now. hit that notification bell, because we're going to be dropping the blueprints, the mindsets, and the hard truths that the traditional education system is too afraid to teach you. If you don't stay informed, you will stay enslaved to the clock. Comment below with the word builder if you are committing to the 100-hour rule starting today. I want to see who is actually ready to walk through the door and who is just looking at it. The clock is ticking. You can either work for it or make it work for you. Choose wisely. I'll see you in the next one. It's still day one.